So this week's Parsha is Parshas Vayikra, and I have for you, I think, some very inspirational and very meaningful ideas that I found in the Parsha and from the Achronim, and I think they are very appropriate for the days that we find ourselves in and the situation that all of Klal Yisrael is in today. You're looking at a piece from Rav Yaakov Naiman, the author of a sefer called Darchei Musar, and he begins his comments on Sefer Vayikra with commenting on one of the first Rashis in the Parsha. The Torah says, Vayikra el Moshe, Vayedaber Hashem elav, me'ol moed le'mor. So, move up Rashi. Rashi explains, Melamed shahaya hakol nifsak, v'lohaya yotze chutz la'ol moed. The voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu would stop. Nifsak. Stopped. V'lohaya yotze chutz la'ol. And it was not out of the tent. You couldn't hear it outside of the Ol Moed. Yachom ipnei shakol namuch. You would think because maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu's voice was very soft and very quiet, was low. Talmud Lomar, no. Es hakol. It says in the pasuk, es hakol. Mahu hakol. What is the voice? Hu hakol hamisparesh b'tehillim. Rashi continues. It's the kol, it's the voice that is explained in Sefer Tehillim, a pasuk that we all know. Kol Hashem ba'koach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's voice is powerful. It's majestic. It's loud. So im kain lo menemar ba'ol moed. So why does the pasuk say vayedaber Hashem me'ol moed? It doesn't say. It says that it's coming from Ol Moed. So then apparently anybody who was in the vicinity of the Ol Moed should be able to hear it. Melamed shahaya hakol nifsak. No, it was only in the Ol Moed where Moshe Rabbeinu was specifically, not where everybody else was. Says Rav Yaakov Naiman, if the voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kavayachal was so strong, Kol Hashem B'koach, Lama Asa HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nes Shenifsak HaKol. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create a nes, a miracle, so to speak, that the voice stopped just at one area? That you were standing here and you could hear it, and you're standing here and you couldn't hear it. Apparently that's what it says. Halo Ein Osen Nes B'chdi. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't just make nisim for the heck of it, for no reason. V'yesh lomar, says Rav Yaakov Naiman, shelo hoya b'zeh shum nes. No. He says this wasn't a nes. Ki kedei l'shmoa es kol Hashem derusha lezeh kedushas ol moed. In order to hear the voice of Hashem, you have to be on the level of the kedusha of the ol moed. Uz shomrim es kol Hashem medaber. Then and only then do you hear the voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaking. In our times, it's very simple to understand this. You have a radio. You have to tune it to a certain frequency. If you're on the wrong frequency, you can't hear the station that you want to listen to. He says, only if you're in tuned to the Kedusha of Ol Moed, then you could hear the Kol Hashem Medaber. Avol me'achorei Ol Moed, if you're behind, if you're not in the vicinity of the Ol Moed, physically and spiritually, Lo Shomim is Kol Hashem. Then you can't hear the Kol of Hashem. Ulachein, therefore, Rak Moshe Shama v'chol b'nei Yisrael lo shamu. Only Moshe was tuned to that frequency, not everybody else. Ze lo haya nes. It wasn't miraculous. Ki l'shmoa es kol Hashem tzrichim ozen. In order to hear Hashem's voice, you need earplugs. You need the ear. You need to be tuned in. Barak ozen shal Moshe shama. And only Moshe's ears were tuned in. Avol ze lo mipnei shemei achorei ol moed ein shum kol Hashem. It's not because the voice didn't carry behind or beyond the Ol Moed. Ki kol Hashem hu chazak ma'od. We're on line 10. Ki Kol Hashem hu chazak ma'od b'li hefsek. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's voice is strong, without any stopping, without any interruption, without any, with not, it continues, it's continuous. Ela shahoisa chaser livnei Yisrael ha'ozen haruchnis k'dei liklo is Kol Hashem. They were missing that level of ruchnius, of spirituality, in order to absorb the Kol of Hashem. And in the next paragraph, he continues and he says, Kemoshe Shamati b'shem Moran Hasaba Zatzal Mikelm Simcha Zisel. The author of Kelm, Reb Simcha Zisel Brody, said, Sha'amar, he says, move up in Mesilas Yesharim. If you look in the classic Sefer Mesilas Yesharim, he says, quote, Shahrei HaNavi Tzavach Simu Levavchem Al Darchechem. The Navi is screaming, Simu Levavchem, put your hearts, place your hearts Al Darchechem, on your ways, what you're doing, pay attention to your actions. Nebach Anachnu Lo Shomim Es Tzavachas HaNavi. We didn't hear, and we don't hear the screams, the cries of the Navi. We don't have the ears to hear it. But Rav Moshe Chaim Lutzato, the author of the Mesilas Yesharim, Shama Eicha Navi Tzavach. He was able to hear how the Navi screamed, how the Navi cried, how the Navi pleaded with us. V'zeh masha amar haTorah. And that's what the Torah means. V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha, v'shamata b'kolo. Return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then you'll hear him. You have to be tuned in to hear him. Kisha'adam miskarev el Hashem, azu shomea es kolo. The closer you get, then you could hear it. Pirkei Avos, Perek Vav Mishnah Beis, next paragraph. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Kol Yom Vayom, everybody knows this Mishnah. Kol Yom Vayom, Kol Yotzes Mehar Chorev. A voice emanates from Mount Sinai, Umachrezes, and it announces, Va'omeres, and it says, Oy lahem librios me'elbono shel Torah. Woe to my creations that the insult of the Torah. Anachnu lo shomim klum. I've never heard that sound. You've never heard that sound. V'hu shama b'chol yom v'yom. Oh, says Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, he heard it every day. Zeh mipnei she'ein lanu oznayim lishmo es kol Hashem. We're not tuned into the right frequency. Chazal HaKadoshim Omrim, on line 20, Chazal have told us, Kilo nivru ra'amim elu liyasher akmimos shebalev. The Gemara in Brachos tells us the purpose of thunder is to straighten our bent hearts, which means to wake us up. We have to hear what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying. The thunder is to frighten us, to make us tremble. V'zehu haram asher be'inyanenu kedavar ragil b'chol yom v'yom. And the thunder that is in the world. And what is the situation that we're all living in just today? Yom v'yom. B'cholzos yesh bazel yasher akmimos shebalev u'lahafoches ha'adam gamri l'ishacher. We should listen to the thunder. We should listen to the messages that Hashem is sending us in order to return to what we're supposed to be. L'misha yesh ozen lahavin l'shmoa. You could hear the thunder and not be moved. You could hear the thunder and tremble. He continues in the next paragraph, V'kama rechokim anu mikach. How far away from this are we? Kolos rash mifatzasos. There are loud noises. Mifatzasos, bombs. Rav Naiman lived in the early part of the 20th century. And he says, and then later on through the establishment of the State of Israel, he says, Bam shenergu behen anashim b'nashim v'yeladim rachmanu litzlan. Fortunately, people have been killed, men, women, and children, rachmanu litzlan. Va'achnu b'shalanu, we just, due to our level that we're on, lo ma'azinan lahavin hakolos. We're not listening. We should be afraid, we should tremble from the tzak on the tsar. Aznenu koltos kol hayedios v'hayramim hamachridim. Our ears should be receiving all the messages, all the thunder. Again, look at the situation we're living in today. V'kulam anu mevinim tiva shmua. Do we understand what's going on? Do we understand what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us? Klum anu yordim la'omek havanasa. Have we gone to the depths of what's happening? Lo murgash haroshem ha'ez asher tzarech haya laharos ososa b'tifilosenu habakuos hashamayim chomahalechayenu. We have to break the heavens with our tefillos because we hear the message. Amar Hagon Rabbaron Baksh, I've based in Tekilas Kadoshas Shualai Belita, Mikdoshe Lita Hashem Yinkam Damo. Rabbaron Baksh, who was a Rav in northern Lithuania who was killed, Rahmana Litzlan, by the Nazis. So he said, Hare Amra HaTorah B'chayve Mises Bezdin. When it comes to those that were executed by the Beis Din, the Torah specifically says when they execute the person who deserves to be killed, the Beis Din paskin that he's chayiv misa, leman yishma'u v'yiro, in order that everybody should hear and see. Umodin lanu Chazal. Chazal have told us, ki Beis Din horeges pam l'shivim shana, kfar nikres Beis Din katlanis. A Beis Din that kills once in 70 years. Is a murderous Beis Din. Executing someone in the Beis Din was an unbelievably rare occurrence. And despite that, if they've done it once every 70 years, they're called a katlanis. They're called murderers in the halachic sense of the word. Ko nadira haisa harigaso shel ben adam. So rare was the killing of a human being, B'im kolzos omeres, and despite that, the Torah says, L'man yishmu v'yiro, pay attention, listen, see what's going on. Mikra nadir zeh, such a rare occurrence, B'kocho lahashpia pachad v'yira, al misha aznav pesuchos lahavin omek adovar. Should make an impression on somebody. Should make an impression on somebody. They have to kill, even if the person deserves it. Jews are being killed on a daily basis. Again, he lived at the beginning of the establishment of the state of Israel. He says, and we take us back to our own situation. Where's the fear? Where are we afraid? We actually aren't listening. We don't understand. Atumos aznenu, our ears are sealed. Lahavin mashadorsha meitanu, what Hashem really wants of us. We also, not only do we not hear what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us, we unfortunately don't hear what our brethren want from us. Kol echad margish rachat saro. We're only looking at ourselves, mashachasolo, what we're missing. And then he says, he continues, this is Parshas Vayikra, which always comes around Pesach time, so Rav Naiman writes, Yemei hachag memash shim b'vom, Pesach is approaching, and everybody's trying to prepare Yontif, whatever they can afford, in order that we can fulfill the mitzvah of Simchas Achag. We have to think of our brethren, who are not happy. They don't have what's necessary for the Chag. Once again, in our position, different than when this was written. And to help them whatever we can, whatever our ability is. As Chazal explained to us in the pasuk at the beginning of this week's Parshas Vayikra, Adam ki yakriv mikem karban, a person who will sacrifice mikem karban, a karban from them. Ha'ikar, what's the meaning here? Sha'adam yakriv mikem. A person has to sacrifice from within. Minafsho, from his own soul, from his insides. Karban l'Hashem, a karban to Hashem. Sheyivater mitavosav, he has to let go, he has to give up his own desires. L'chvod Hashem, for the honor of Hashem. V'yikmetz me'ta'anugim shalo, and gather what he would enjoy, l'tzorech v'aniyim, and share it with others. Zehu hakarban hachashuv Hashem. That's the karban that Hashem wants. Very powerful words written over a half century ago, but applicable today. In the Chumash Mesoros Harav by put out by Talmidim of the Rav, Dr. Listiger, who is the editor of the Mesoros Harav, he brings a piece in this week's Parsha, which I thought also was extremely powerful and extremely important to share. It says that the Korban should be brought to the Kohanim. So the Rav is quoted as teaching, and he shall bring it to Aaron's descendants, the Kohanim. From the time of the Chashmonoim and the Greek Hellenizers, Sefer Vayikra has been attacked mercilessly for the institution of Karbanos. Again, this is something for us to think about in our day and age. The Gemara in Sukkah tells us the story of Miriam, the daughter of Bilga, Miriam Bas Bilga, who apostatized and married a Greek officer. She entered the temple, removed her shoe, and banged it on the altar, exclaiming, "Wolf, wolf, how long will you consume the material wealth of the Jewish people while you do not protect them in their time of need?" Why it says wolf, Zev, Zev, everyone can look up that Gemara. The early Christians sought to attack the institution of the temple and took aim at the Kohanim and the temple service. Anyone familiar with the history of this period knows how deep their hatred ran towards the Torah's Kohanim, the book of Leviticus, a hatred that intensified during line 10, the rise of Christianity in the Middle Ages. They consistently sought to deride and belittle the institution of Karbanos. Throughout the years, the form of derision has changed, but the intent remains the same. One of the earliest modifications enacted by Reform Judaism was the excision of Karbanos from the Seder HaTfilah. Modern Bible criticism is veiled atheistic and agnostic attempt to continue the Christian attack against the Torah's Kohanim. The use of the term priestly code by Bible critics is a thinly concealed attempt to discredit Sefer Vayikra, branding it as a subsequent addition to the canon, written by a group of Kohanim after the return from the Babylonian exile to Zion to force a priestly aristocracy on the people. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, in a different context. The Rav continues, Knesset Yisrael remained faithful and true to our Masorah. We have stood strongly in defense of the Torah's Kohanim, displaying more devotion and commitment to its study with each attempt at discrediting it, as expressed by all the books and commentary that have been written on Sefer Vayikra. The Talmud Bavli includes only Maseches Brachos on Seder Zeraim, as the other tractates relate in Seder Zeraim, related to agriculture, apply only in Eretz Yisrael, and were therefore more fully covered in the Jerusalem Talmud and the Talmud Yerushalmi. Similarly, Maseches Nida is the only Maseches of Talmud in Seder Taharos, with the rest limited to Mishnayos. However, when it comes to Seder Kodshim, Talmud Bavli contains a full set of Masechtos. Our devotion, even in exile, is evident by the fact that all of the Midrashic books written on the Torah, only the Sifra Devei Rav, referred to as Torah's Kohanim, was written in Bavel. Rashi and Tosfos, the classic commentaries on Talmud Bavli, are not available for Mishnayos, Taharos, and Zoram. However, Rashi and Tosfos commented on the tractates in Kodshim as extensively as they did on Seder Moed and Nashim. To reinforce Kodshim in our daily lives, the passage Ezehu Makoman, Mishnayos from Maseches Zvachim, is included in our daily Siddur. We include the opening section of Torah's Kohanim, the Bryce of Rabbi Yishmael, and the 13 attributes through which the Torah is explicated in our Karbanos recitation to reinforce the inherent connection between the Torah Shebechsav and the Torah Sheba'al Peh regarding Karbanos. And according to one opinion in the Gemara, Brachos, our daily tfilos Keneged Karbanos are directly connected to the daily sacrifices offered at the same time of the day. And according to Tosfos, Tfilas Musaf is a form of Unashalma Parim Sifoseinu. We will render the calves of our lips, said the Navi Hosea. Our tfilos are substitutes for the specific sacrifices offered. The Medrash teaches us, next week's parsha, an ancient accepted tradition according to which the education of young children commenced with the study of Sefer Vayikra. After the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai enacted many takanos to keep the Beis HaMikdash and the Avoda alive in our communal memory. Despite the seemingly absurdity of hoping for such a future in such a dark and foreboding time, Yochanan ben Zakkai had the courage to look forward and see a future of the Avodas Beis HaMikdash. Now, in the same vein about looking forward, Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky has an absolutely phenomenal thought based on the pasuk in Parshas Bo, HaChodesh Hazeh Lochem Rosh Chodashim. I know that we read it last Shabbos in Parshas HaChodesh, but Thursday is Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and I think this is very, very appropriate and something for everybody to think about. This phenomenal thesis that Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky is going to suggest and propose, something very, very profound to think about. So it says, HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem Rosh Chodashim. This month is the first month, and now as we begin the month of Nisan. Kasav HaRamban, he quotes the Ramban, V'zeh Lashono, quote, Kfar Hizkiru Rabbeinu in Yerushalmi, Zeh Ha'inyan, V'amru, they said, Shemos HaChadashim Alum Imanu MiBavel, Ki Metchila Lo Haya Lehem Shemos Etzleinu. אבל כאשר עלינו מבבל חזרנו לקרוא חדשים שנקראים בארץ בבל להזכיר כי שם עמדנו משם העלנו השם יזברך. He's pointing out that during the entire period up until from the first Beis HaMikdash, a time of when the Klal Yisrael entered Eretz Yisrael, through the time of the first Beis HaMikdash, and even through the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, the months of the year did not have names. Chodesh HaRishon, Chodesh HaSheni, Chodesh HaShlishi, even though there are some psukim in Tanakh that refer to Chodesh Ziv, etc., but by and large, they were only referred to as the first month, the second month, the third month, etc. In Bavel, when the Jews spent 70 years in Bavel, names of the months had names there, and those names were adapted by the Jews, and we brought them back with us when we returned after Galus Bavel. That's what he says once again on right here on line number 1, 2, 3, 4. Kasher alinu mi Bavel, when we came back from Bavel, chazarnu likra chadashim shenikram be'eretz Bavel, we continued to refer to the months as they were referred to in Bavel, lahaskir, to remember, kishama madnu, we were there, V'sham ha'elonu Hashem yizbarach, and Hashem brought us back from there. Ki ela hashmos, the months that we refer to them even up until today, Nisan, Iyar, V'zulasam, Shemos Parsayim, they're Persian names. V'lo yimatzeh rak b'sifrei nevi'ei Bavel, and you will only find those names, Nisan, Iyar, etc., in Sfarim of Tanakh that were written in Bavel or subsequent to Bavel, and Megillas Esther, as we read a couple of weeks ago. In Megillas Esther, Chodesh Adar, Chodesh Nisan, all those months are listed in Megillas Esther, whichever ones were appropriate. That's the Ramban's quote and the Ramban's statement to teach us that even though the Torah says that Rishon hu lochem l'chadshei Hashana, Nisan, or this is the first month, we refer to it as Nisan, and where did Nisan come from? It came from Bavel. Says Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky right here on line 10. Hine, yesh l'tmoa. He says, I have a question. Madua be'emes ozvu lashon haTorah, v'nachdu lashon pras. I mean, it's a good kasha. We're going to not do what the Torah tells us to do. Rishon hu lachem l'chadshei Hashana, to call it Chodesh Rishon, and we're going to call it a Persian name. Ubeprat. Shemos hachadashim sheyesh bo shemos avodah zarah kagon Tammuz. Some of them, specifically Tammuz, is a name of a Persian deity. So we're going to refer to the months with those names? What's going on here? Ube'emes, he continues. Matzinu shebimei bayesheni haisa hasafa hamudiberes beYisrael lashon arami. He says, what was the vernacular? What was the spoken language in Eretz Yisrael during the time of the second Beis Hamikdash? It was Aramaic, not Lashon HaKodesh, not Hebrew. Barak divrei Torah kasu b'Lashon HaKodesh. The Safa HaMeduberet, the spoken language, was Aramaic. Svarim were written in Hebrew, in Lashon HaKodesh. The Mishnah is the prime example. Halo b'Mitzrayim, and we know, and we say this every year at the Seder, right? Halo b'Mitzrayim hayu mishabchen osam shaloshinu es lishonam, on the top here. One of the reasons the Chazal tell us that we were redeemed from Egypt was shaloshinu es lishonam. We didn't change our language. We remained speaking Hebrew, Lashon HaKodesh. The Shvatim and Klal Yisrael, as they grew in Mitzrayim, remained Hebrew speakers. They did not speak Egyptian. And that was how we got out. That was unique about the Jewish people. And here, all of a sudden, we're speaking Aramaic, which was the language of Aram, not the language of Israel. V'hanira b'zeh, says Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky. Listen to his brilliant insight. He says, I have to give you an introduction in order to prove my thesis. The Gemara in Maseches Yoma says, there were 5 items that were, 5 primary items that were missing in the time of the second Beis Hamikdash that were in the first Beis Hamikdash. V'harishon, mehem, hu Aaron. The primary one was the Aaron. Asher nignaz bimei Yoshio HaMelech, which was hidden in the time of Yoshio HaMelech. Where it was hidden, not for now. Ulechora mashma, the hatam shachasar omer bayisheni, hu mishum shenesal min ayin. And the reason that it was gone is because it was lost. We don't know where it is. Achlo kain mashma maseches shkolim. He says, I don't think they lost where it was. I think they knew where it was. How do we know that? Well, there's an explicit Mishnah in Maseches Shkolim that says, Maaseh b'kohen echad shehaya misasek. There was one Kohen who was doing something in the confines of the Beis Hamikdash. V'roas haritzpa shi meshuna mechavroseha. And he saw that one of the tiles, one of the areas of the floor was a little different. Bava amar l'chavera. He said to his neighbor, to his fellow Kohen, look at this. Lo hispik ligmar dava achiyatza nishmaso. He's trying to figure out what's there, and he died. V'yadu b'yichud shesham aron nignaz ad kan lashon Mishnah. And everybody knew why, because he uncovered the place where the Aron was hidden underneath the area of the Beis Hamikdash. Hare afshe yadu efo Aron nignaz. We're on line 30. Even though they knew where the Aron was hidden, afal pike, they knew where it was. Despite that, lo ha'aleu l'makom ves kodshe hakadashim. It wasn't brought up to its rightful place in the Kodesh Kadashim. Must have been a real good reason why they didn't do that. If they knew where it was, so why didn't they bring it up where it belongs, in the Kodesh Kadashim? Madua. Why? Next paragraph. V'nira she'olei bavel shebanu es habayis hasheni. He says something fascinating. He says the Jews who returned when the Beis Hamikdash was rebuilt, the second Beis Hamikdash was rebuilt, Yadu, they knew something. What did they know? Sha'olei Bavel, Shabanu es Beis Nira Sha'olei Bavel, Shabanu es Bayis Hasheni, who rebuilt the second Beis Hamikdash. Yadu, they knew, Ki lo zeh habinyan asher yamod la'olamim. This was not going to be the permanent Beis Hamikdash. And their return to Eretz Yisrael from Bavel in this period was not going to be the ultimate Geula. This was only temporary. The second Beis Hamikdash would not be permanent. Datam haisa, their reasoning was, ki binyan habayis betkufazos lo no noad ella lahachinas letkufas hagula haarucha. This binyan habayis, this construction of the second Beis Hamikdash was for one purpose. Look at the words he says. Lahachin es ha'am letkufas hagula haarucha. To prepare them for the long, long galus. Al pishura sadin, he said, really? Hayu heim tzrichim lishar bebavel odzman rav. They should have remained in Bavel for a much longer time. We were only in Bavel for 70 years. And says Rav Yaakov, he thinks that we really should have remained in Bavel for a very, very extended long time. Ela sharasa hashgacha, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw something. Shekvar la'achar shivim shana shel galus Bavel. After 70 years of galus Bavel, kvar nitma v'nisarev rav ha'aman hagayim. What happened towards the end of the 70 years? Much of the Jewish people were completely embedded and assimilated with the non-Jews. We see that in Megillas Esther. See that? They all went to Achashverosh's party. Ubarak Hashemesh, and it's clear as the sun, says Rav Yaakov, right here, 2 lines before the bottom. If the Jewish people are going to remain in Gullus for hundreds or thousands of years, the Jewish people would not be able to remain with their separate identity. There would be nobody to redeem. The Jewish people would be totally assimilated. No Jews left. Therefore, says Rabbi Yaakov, Hashem al amo v'otzia mibava v'hechziram. Hashem had Rachmanas on Klal Yisrael in Bavel, and he brought them back. Ba'ofen zmani, but he brought them back in a temporary fashion la'eretz Yisrael. Bano lehem beis habechira. Yes, he gave them the Beis Hamikdash. V'akol the purpose was to get them ready for the longer goals. So they're going to strengthen themselves with Amunah, and they will be armed, so to speak, for the long and bitter galus of which we are at the tail end, Baruch Hashem. But people should realize that this is not the complete geula, and they're still in a semi-galus. Because of that, lo helu as ha'ara. That's why they didn't have the ara. Not a complete geula yet, no ara. Mokar HaKedusha b'bayis harishon, which was the source of Kedusha in the first Beis Hamikdash. It wasn't in the second Beis Hamikdash, because the Gula wasn't complete. Mimakom shenignaz v'hishiyar b'makomo. It was hidden at the end of the first Beis Hamikdash, and it stayed there. And it's there till today. Ki adayin ein hagula shlema, because the Gula is not complete. And machmas hakarasam zu, because they recognize this, shadayin lo higia hagula shlema, because the Gula shlema hasn't arrived yet. Hinhigu ole bavel kama v'kama inyanim sheyosim kamoshi anagim b'tkufas hagalus. Because they realized that the Gula shlema hasn't arrived yet, they had to do certain things that everybody should realize that this is a semi-geula, semi-galus. It's in the middle. Laharos, line 60. Galus Bavel is extending. Even though it's an Eretz Yisrael, it's still a Galus. And the Beis Hamikdash that's built is only temporary. And this one will be destroyed as well. Because of that, says Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, Kisha'olami Bavel chazu likro es shemos hachadashim b'shem shenikru b'Bavel. That's why they kept the names that they used in Bavel, or the names of the months, because we're still semi in Bavel. Kamosh our Ramban, as we said before, lahazkir. Strange what the Ramban writes. Look at the words. Lahazkir ki shama madnu. We were there. Umisham ha'elanu Hashem Yisbarach. And from there, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought us up. Klomar. In other words, Kedei Lizkor shebe'emes lo nigalu ba'ofen mushlam. We're on the top in this column. We haven't been completely redeemed yet. L'chein gam l'shonam nishar b'lashon ha'galus. That's why, in fact, their language remained the language of the galus. Lashon Arami, Aramaic. V'lo chazru l'daber b'lashon hakodesh. They did not revert to speak lashon hakodesh. Mashahaya maraki lahim nigalu ba'ofan sofi. Because it wasn't the end of the galus. We're still in the middle of the galus. He says maybe that's the reason that the Talmud Yerushalmi, which was actually written in Eretz Yisrael, was written also in Aramaic. The Bishlam HaBavli, I understand why the Talmud Bavli is written in Aramaic, because that was the vernacular where the deliberations of halacha were going on. So that's what they transcribed. Okay, the Bishlama, line 72. Habavli Shenichta B'Bavel Nichta B'Safa Medina was written in the language, again, the vernacular. Aval Hayushalmi, Shenichta B'Eretz Yisrael, Madua Nichta B'Aramis. Why was that written in Aramaic? Aval Udvarenu, but based on what I'm saying, says Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, Nasa Zemeh Tamanal. Now we understand. He then adds, in parentheses, Parshas Vayechi. Go look back in what I told you in Parshas Vayechi. How come they didn't appoint a king from the Davidic dynasty then, from Malchus Beis David? Because to establish a king from David HaMelech would have been against what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted. We have a king when we're in our own country, so to speak, redeemed, free. The gullus is over, so the king reigns. But if it's still part of the gullus is still extending, we can't have a king from Malchus Beis David. Ki line 80. Ki hamlachas melech mi mishpachas David HaMelech haisa mispareshes kilu higia ketz hayama v'agula sida. If we would have a king from David HaMelech, then this would be the ketz hagula hasida, would be the time for Mashiach to come. L'chein, therefore, lo ha'iru chachmei Yisrael beis chashmonaim al shem lichu atzmam. That's why the Chachamim did not object in a very, very major way to the fact that the Chashmonaim, who were Kohanim, who crowned themselves kings, even though according to the Ramban they were ultimately punished for that, but the Chachamim did not object in such a strong fashion, because Malchus Beis David was not supposed to reign yet. Orzeh, he then concludes by saying, Novin David Tamua b'Sefer HaNevi'im. We can understand something in the Nevi'im. Sharei Nevuas Chagai. If you look in the Sefer and Treyasar called Chagai, HaMisyacheches Beruba Al Binyan Bayesheni, which is a discussion of the building of the second Beis HaMikdash. Ne'emra la'achar Nevuas Yecheskel. It was said chronologically after the Nevuah of Yecheskel. And what is Yecheskel's topic that he discusses? He's talking about the permanent, ultimate, future Beis HaMikdash, Bayis HaShlishi, the third Beis HaMikdash. V'adarabba, on the contrary, Ikar Shlichos Shochagai Yisol Litzapos L'Roshei Yehuda Lo Litzapos Lamtin La'achris Hayamin. If you look in Chagai, he's telling them not to worry and wait for the end of days. Ela livnos beintayim mikdasheni. He says, build it, right now. Let's build a Bayis Sheni. We have to understand what's going on here. Why was Yecheskel commanded on the third Beis HaMikdash before Chagai was commanded to talk about the Bayis Sheni? Chronologically, it doesn't make any sense. Why did the later one, the one that hasn't been built yet, come before the one that was already built or would be built first? Omnam, however, says Rav Yaakov, makes a lot of sense based on our thesis. The Nevuah of Yecheskel in the third Beis HaMikdash, behechrech chaysa tzricha lios mukdemes. It had to come first. Ki zehu abinyan shesiman as gulas ha'Yisrael ha'shleima. That represents the ultimate complete geula of the Jewish people. And that's what we're waiting for from the time that the first Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. That we're going to have the Beis HaMikdash will be rebuilt and will stand permanently. L'gula Hasida, for the Gula Hasida, we're on line 101. Masha'enken Chagai, Nitztava al Bayesheni, he was commanded on the second Beis HaMikdash, Shahaya Ira, Arai, that was temporary. Ubabazman Golas Chalkis, Lachain Nevuaso Babachrona, V'dukete B'cholzeh. And that's why it came later, because it was in a time of partial Golas. Ulefidav Areinu Elu, last paragraph, right here. If you look in Parshas Peshalach, a pasuk that we read every single morning in Oz Yashir, Ad Ya'avor Amcha Hashem, Ad Ya'avor Amzuk Nisa, that the Am Hashem is passing through, and this nation that you have acquired is passing. Ya'avor, Gemara Brachos, the Gemara at the beginning of Maseches Brachos tells us what's the two phrases of Ad Ya'avor. Ad Ya'avor Amcha Hashem Zubia Rishona, that's the first entry into the land of Israel. Ad Ya'avor Amzukanisa, and the nation that you acquired also came in, Zubia Shnia. That's the second arrival, the second entrance into the land of Israel. Ella Shagar Machet. But what happened? Chet intervened. The sins of the Jewish people intervened, and it wasn't the same. The fanfare of the splitting of the Yarden entering into Eretz Yisrael the first time was not there the second time. V'hainu, line 110. We only really need two entrances into the land of Israel. Hainu, top here, Binyan Bayis Rishon B'mei Shlomo, the coming into the land, ultimately the goal is Binyan Bayis Rishon, the building of the first Beis HaMikdash, which was done in the day of Shlomo, Binyan Bayis Shlishi B'mei Mashiach, and the building of the second Beis HaMikdash in the days of Mashiach. But unfortunately, Nebuch Gara Machet, Chet intervened. The Chatam, the sins of the Jewish people, Shenis Arvavu v'nis Bolulu Ben Hagoyim, we were completely assimilated and mixed up between the non-Jews, v'chutzrach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to fix the problem immediately, l'golam ba'ofen arai, and to redeem them in a temporary fashion, v'livnos bayis sheni, and to build the second Beis HaMikdash. For what purpose? Kidei lo yishtaku bumo, so we wouldn't be totally absorbed and completely obliterated by the Umos Ha'olam. It's a fascinating idea. Fascinating idea. The second Beis HaMikdash was only temporary in order that the Jewish people, we needed that. We needed that emunah, we needed the faith that we received during those 420 years of the second Beis HaMikdash in order to survive and endure the gullus that unfortunately we've been in for almost 2,000 years. Finally, the last piece for today, again, something which is, I find, extremely relevant and important in the situation that we find ourselves in. The Torah says, pasuk we quoted earlier today, this piece comes from Rav Shimshon Pinkas in his sefer on Chumash, Tiferes Shimshon, and he writes as follows: Chelek mi mitzvos haTorah mugderes kechukim. Part of the mitzvahs of the Torah are considered chukim. We all know what a chok is, something we have no explanation for. Mitzvah she'en yadua tama, the mitzvahs we don't know the reasons for. V'afal pikein, nevertheless, Am Yisrael mekaymin davka mitzvahs elav ava b'chiba yisera. These mitzvahs that we have no clue, so to speak, what their basic reasons are, what the basic reason for the mitzvahs are, we do it with love and affection. The Yodam shall call Masha Mitzvah HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yesh Bo Tamim Sodas Neflam. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's right and what's good for us. And even if we don't understand it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu does, and that's why we do the mitzvahs. He says such a beautiful idea. One of the mitzvahs that we really have no understanding of is karbanos. Shekadushasam haisa atsuma. The kedusha of a korban is extremely strong. Umalasam haisa yisera mikol mitzvos haTorah. And the level is greater than all the mitzvahs of Torah, as we discussed earlier. V'afal pikein, nevertheless, if you look in the writings of the Rishonim, you'll see a few reasons for the bringing of karbanos. Haramban mevaer, the Ramban says, you look at the beginning of this week's parsha, pasuk tes, mevaer shahamakriv behema lekorban tzarich lachshov lahargish. Person who's bringing an animal as a korban has to think and feel. Shakol hanasa behema zu nasa b'atzmo. Whatever happens to this animal should really have happened to me. Hu achshav nishkat, he's being slaughtered. His blood and guts are being put on the mizbeach. In front of Hashem. His chet will be atoned for. You have to think that it's you and not the animal. And the karbanos are a statement of love between a man and Hashem also. Somebody who brings flowers to one he loves. Person doesn't need flowers, but it's a statement of love. I want to show you how much I care for you, so I'm giving you flowers. Similarly, on end of line 11, I show how much I want to come close to Hashem. That's the word karban, karev, to come close. Look at Rav Hirsch's commentary, the beginning of Parshas Vayikra, where he talks about the word karban. Ad kedei hakravas chelbo v'damo shel ha'makriv al gabei mizbach avas Hashem. That he's bringing the blood and the guts on the mizbeach out of love for Hashem. And now what does it have to do with us? Vihine, this paragraph. Yodua shatfila hi b'makam karbanos. We know that tefillah is in the place of karbanos. Dichsiv, pasuk that we quoted earlier in this year, in the shalma parim sifaseinu, and our lips should be like the calves that we bring. Ukamuvan ha-pasha, and as the simple explanation is, kishem karban hu bitoy his batluso shel adam lifnei bara ad kedei shvichas dam lamano yisbarach, just like the karban is the statement of a person's nullification of himself in front of his creator, so much so that he's putting his own blood on the mizbeach, as we just explained. Kach ha-tefillah hi regesh, our tefillah has to be with emotion, shall his batlus gemur lifnei abo. That's how we're supposed to daven. We're supposed to pour our emotions out in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hainu ha'hakara shekol ma sheyesh ba'olam b'chlal, everything that's in the world in general, u'ba'olami b'prat, and in my Dalet Amos specifically, hakol mimenu yisbarach, all comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'akol shalo rak b'yad alaseis, and everything comes only in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. L'chein, and therefore, b'chdei shetiyah tefillah shalema, so your tefillah will be complete. Tzarich sheyichalal bo bitul mesiras nefesh v'izbatlus ma'asiyos l'fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Person has to act in a way of mesiras nefesh and nullification of an undoing of oneself in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's how your tefillahs have to be. And having to daven alone at a much slower pace, person should start taking their tefillah more seriously, understanding the words. What are we saying? We're standing in front of the Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what one of the positive aspects of the situation that we're in. Let's just conclude. Line 20. V'hinei, chaye ha'adam heim hazman shanitan lo mimenu yisbarach lichios b'olam. Person's life is the life that Hashem gives us to live in this world. In order for a person to be successful in his tefillah, time is the essence, as I just mentioned. But sometimes we see people who unfortunately don't come on time to shul. Why don't people come on time? Okay, couldn't get out of bed. It's a cold winter morning. Or he's involved in something. He was having a conversation before tefillah. And as a result of him coming late, so because he came a couple of minutes late, so the whole tefillah now is rushed, and he has to skip this and skip that so he can daven with the tzibur. And at the end of davening, he runs out in order to get to work, to make the bus, to make the train, to make the carpool, whatever the reason is. Sof davar, the end of it says Rav Shimshon Pinkas, Hayom Katzer Lo, the day is short. Vatfila Maruba, but we have much to pray for. Umenasa lidchos harbe bisman muat. But kol yofia shatfila miskalker. And we have a lot to pray for, as I just said. And the beauty of tefillah gets ruined. Ube'emes, we're on line 28. Mishalo hisragal avo bisman. Somebody who's not used to coming on time. Oson eser dakos of tefillah kashos avur kamavis. Those 10 minutes before davening are tough. The omnan. How are you most nefesh b'tefillah? How can you take your blood and guts for tefillah bisman hazeh? Well, you know what you do? He says, sheyikva bedato, a person should establish, shebizman hamukta shel tefillah v'achana l'krosa, kol hasakav yu b'teilah. At the time of tefillah and ready for tefillah, everything else should go away. I propose, and I'm just as guilty as everybody else, should leave our phones in the car, leave our phones outside, not look at our phones during davening. Even the very precious minutes we have of sleeping in the morning, or shar inyan, or other things that we do, at the time they're very important. We have to put that aside, and we should devote it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Inyan zeh, etzem nogeh lekavod shemayim. This is for kavod shemayim. Harei hakavod hapashut beyoser she'efshel l'seis l'mishu l'hakdish lo zman mat. What's the most important thing we could do for someone else? Give them time. Be there for them. Is there an insult that we could say to somebody more than, I don't have any time for you? It's terribly insulting. Hare bisman hatfila, when we daven, and again, staying at home, having to daven slower. All these thoughts come to you. When I saw this offering from Rav Pinkas, I said, this is talking to us. Hare bisman hatfila medabrim anu el Hashem yizbarach. During davening, we are talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Betzan ein lanu zman. We really don't have the time for God. We go quick to daven. Yeah, we have to finish up because we have to catch again the bus, the train, the carpool, whatever. And we swallow the words. All those words, we just say them without thinking and with whether we actually say them or not. Take off your tefillin, run out. Where's the derech eretz? Line 40. And in truth, sometimes we do have pressure of time. There's no doubt about it. Every one of us is pressured for time. You know what? Come 10 minutes earlier. If davening starts at 7 in the morning, come 10 to 7. If you come 10 minutes early and you start and you don't have to rush, your davening is a different davening. There's nothing more important than be involved in tefillah. Somebody who serves HaKadosh Baruch Hu in such a fashion, Vadai Shakol Tfilosav Tikablenu. We hope and pray that when a person puts himself as Mesiris Nefesh into his tefillahs will be accepted ki karbanos v'chenichocham, as the karbanos are accepted on the Mizbeach. Everyone should have a good Shabbos.